Hello, welcome back to Pave the Way podcast. My name is Toussaint. I am your host, and this is episode 6. It's actually our third episode on our new series we called Journey with the Lord. We've already released 2 more episodes. If you haven't listen to them, please go back and listen to them, because for you to be able to get full experience, you'll have to know where we started to know where we are heading or where we're going. So coming back to our topic or our series, Journey with the Lord. So what we are mainly trying to do is to discover who we are on this journey that we are on with Jesus, or who we are on this journey we are on with God, and who has God chosen us to be, or how are we supposed to truly living this life in a godly way, not in a way that we see in the world every time, not in a way that we see being advertised on televisions every day, every now and then, but in a way that the Lord wants us to live this life, because he's the maker of the life. He started everything, and he has a way that he designed this life to be lived, and that's what we're trying to see. So, and we cannot we cannot live this life the right way except we're being led by him. We are on the journey with him. Okay, so today's topic is a topic that I think is going to be a little bit heavy, because it's going to include some of my personal story. The story that I think it relates to me, and it has been a part of my journey in this life. And we have the topic called "You Are Valuable." Okay, so the topic is called "You Are Valuable," and the reason why I call this topic "You Are Valuable" is actually because I want to show you how Jesus sees you, how God sees you, right? Taking yourself outside of your body and looking at yourself in a perspective that the Lord sees you in, and see how much you really mean to him. So before we get into this, I wanted to ask you again a question. And this question, you make sure you take time and again think about it before you answer it. And this question is, what's your value? What are you worth? If I was to buy you, how much would I have to pay to have your full service? Like, to own you? At what rate do you charge? So take time and answer to that. So let's get into into our today's topic. So the reason why I want us to talk about this is maybe because you felt like your life doesn't make sense. Like maybe your whole life felt like you don't know why you're living for. You've always had constant questions in your head, like, why am I here? Like, why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Why has things always been hard for me? One of the questions that I always used to ask myself is, why don't I ever stand a chance? Why, when there's something that requires luck, why can I ever get lucky? So myself, I used to always think that I don't deserve anything good. If anything good came to me, I would always pass along, because I've never been that kind of person who gets the best version of things. I was born in a very loving family. Man, I always thank the Lord for a beautiful family they've given me. He's given me. My parents loved me. My siblings loved me. I was born in a family of 6 children. I was born the second one. I'm the second born. And all my siblings have NBA heights. So they're all tall. Like, if I tell you tall, I'm the second born. The first born is super tall. Me and also my younger siblings are also taller than me. So you can imagine, if you know me, you actually know what I'm saying. So you can imagine how it felt growing up, seeing that I don't grow taller anymore, and my younger siblings are gonna outgrow me, and we will have guests at home, and when we went to greet them, the first question they would ask me is, "Oh, why don't you grow? You see your siblings are growing taller than you. What is wrong with you?" And this thing made me start questioning, why God made me this way. I would feel like maybe God made a mistake creating me this way, because I come from a tall people family. Well, how come am I not the same height as they are? Or maybe, you know how you feel like you don't even fit into your family, like, I don't think this is where I belong even. So I grew up in that environment, and funny enough, this is not something that I could discuss with any of my relatives, because nobody understood that, So I had to live with that. They actually respected it, because they saw that I couldn't do anything to make myself tall. So I love my siblings, man. They respected me for it. They never looked me different. They always consider me their elder brother. So on a family side, it wasn't that big of a deal, but on the outside side, so people would always look at me differently because of my height, and it put me into a room where I felt like I wasn't satisfied with the person I am. Like I couldn't see my value again. Like I felt like life wasn't really what it was by the time. And me being in that stage of mind, the enemy kept flooding me with thoughts, with negative thoughts. Maybe they don't love you. Maybe you were born in the wrong family. Maybe those are not even your parents. Maybe all these negative thoughts kept coming to my mind. How come all your siblings are told but you're not? Or maybe there's a lie that you're not being told. All these things kept coming to me, and it was hard on my mind, and it was hard to digest it. So when I thought it couldn't get worse, that's when the enemy started flooding me with even much worse thoughts, feeling like I've been left behind, overthink situation, like you tell me a word and I would overthink it. And most of the time when we overthink, we jump to a wrong conclusion. And I cannot tell you how much trouble I've been in for overthinking, just only overthinking. And the worst thing the enemy did was to show me that I was not complete, and that I needed substances to complete me. So he started telling me, you have everything but the height. But if you start drinking, you'll get the respect you deserve. So I started drinking. But if you start cursing, if you start acting like everybody else is acting, if you lose the sense of your authenticity, you're going to have the respect. Because this is how the world works, right? If you don't smoke, if you don't drink, if you don't go out with women, you don't get the respect you deserve. They call you a weirdo. And I fell for it. And I started doing what most of people do, most of my friends do. And that opened up a room in me to not be afraid of sin anymore, if you get what I'm saying, right? So I was like, ever since I started drinking, I wasn't afraid of committing any kind of sin. I wasn't afraid of living my life the way I wanted it, like not caring about how my Father sees me, not caring about how Jesus, the Lord, my Maker, sees me. So I lost that sense of being God's child, and I took on the sense of living my life my way, my terms, and that is a very bad state to be in. Mentally, it's draining. Physically, people, when you lost your identity, when you lost your authenticity just to please people, that is the worst condition anyone can be in. So to make a long story short, when I met Jesus, when I got saved, God showed me this verse that I'm going to read for you today. It's a bit of a long verse. So it's found in Samuel, 1 Samuel, chapter 16, from verse 4. We're going to up to verse 13. And it says, Samuel did what the Lord said. When he arrived at Bethlehem, the elders of the town trembled when they met him. They asked, "Do you come in peace?" Samuel replied, "Yes, in peace. I've come to sacrifice to the Lord. Consecrate yourselves and come to the sacrifice with me." Then he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. When they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab and thought, "Surely the Lord's anointed stands here before the Lord." But the Lord said, this is the verse that I want you to pay attention on. But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him." The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. The heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and had him pass in front of Samuel. Samuel said, "The Lord has not chosen this one either." Jesse then had Shammah pass by, but Samuel said, "Not has the Lord chosen this one." Jesse had seven of his sons pass before Samuel, but Samuel said to him, "The Lord has not chosen these." So he asked Jesse, "Are these all your sons? Are these all the sons you have?" Then pay attention on these verses again, okay? There is still the youngest. Jesse answered, "He's tending the sheep." Samuel said, "Send for him. We will not sit down until he arrives." So he sent for him and had him brought in. He was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and a handsome feature. Then the Lord said, "Rise and anoint him. This is the one." Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brother. From that day on, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David. Samuel then went to Ramah. So what I brought this verse to talk about is, look at this. On verse 12 it says, "So he sent for him and had him brought in. He was glowing and listen. He was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and has a handsome feature." This is the guy that has been rejected by his whole family. He's attending sheep, but soon as he comes back home, he's glowing. So when Jesse and his family saw a shepherd, Jesus saw a glowing son, a healthy and handsome son. And he chose him. When everybody else was seeing a left out kid, the kid that doesn't deserve anything good, when everybody thought that it has to be one of these 7 children, God was with the shepherd one, the one that was left behind. And then verse 13 said, "So Samuel took a horn of oil, anointed him in the presence of his brother. And from that day on, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David." The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David. I thank God that he doesn't look as people look, man. Because if he was that, man, my life would have been miserable. I'm not saying this because I've been through a worse condition. No. Maybe you're struggling with your mental health. Maybe you're struggling with overthinking, suffering, your pain. You've been through a lot, man. That every time you take a step, you have like 30 things draining you again, and you keep thinking, why am I even still here? Why do I even live? What's the meaning of this life today? And it's truly hard on your heart, and it's heavy on your heart. You've tried everything. You've tried drinking. You've tried fornication. But how long do you think you're going to keep on doing that? If it's drinking that brings you peace, how many more shots, man? How many more shots are you going to take to make you feel better? If it's women, how many more? If it's men, how many more? You tell me. How many more nights are you going to feel miserable until you give it all up and say, Father, come take it. Come take it. I can't no more. Father is desperate. He's waiting for you to say, I can't take it no more. He loves you, man. He sees you as a person worth dying for. I mean, he shed his blood for you. His life is amazing, man. I live a beautiful life, man. I go to sleep happy. I wake up with joy. My Father cares about me. Man, I cannot explain to you how deep his love is to me. There's nothing you can buy, you can give me that would stop me from praying. So give it all to him, man. Give it all to him. He's willing. He doesn't look at you as people looks at you. He calls you valuable. He calls you worth dying for. Listen to this verse. It's Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans and thoughts that I have for you, says the Lord. Plans for peace and well-being, and not for disaster. To give you a future and hope. Then you will call on me, and you will come and pray to me, and I will hear your voice, and I will listen to you. Then with a deep longing, you will seek me and require me as a vital necessity, and you will find me when you search for me with all your heart. So look for him. Search for him. Go after him. Only him can fill you up, man. Everything you've been told that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve anything good, he can wash all that away. God doesn't make any mistakes, man. When I look at the things he created, water, trees, sky, rain, everything is perfect. Why would you ever think that he made a mistake creating you? You are valuable. And if you're going to walk with God, you're going to know your worth. You're going to know that you are worth dying for. He already died for you. So you are worth dying for, man. Get up. Pick yourself back up, man. He's waiting for you. And you can do bigger things. And you can do greater things through him who gives you strength. Thank you. We have come to an end of this. And if you're asking, how do I come back to the Lord? Just say a prayer. It doesn't have to be something complicated. You can just say, Father, I laid it all down. Come help me out. That should be enough. And it's going to come in. And it might not happen right away. But Father, God above, he listens when we pray. So keep seeking him. And eventually he's going to come to your rescue. Thank you very much. You have a good week. Shalom.